Welcome in, I'm Artress, and in this video, we're going to be talking about Purple Luffy, one of the stronger but yet simpler decks to come out of OP05. Now, just because this deck, I say it's simple, doesn't mean that it's bad. I think it's a very strong deck overall. The reason why I think it's simple is because its game plan overall is simple. You're doing very much the same thing, or at least consistently the same thing every game. You're playing 4 or 5 drop bodies. You're using effects to either ramp up and then get to a level where you're playing a Rush Kaido or maybe back-to-back Eustace Captain Kid the 7 drop. So overall, this deck is very good at what it does. It's a very strong leader, and I think we'll see a lot of people play this and do well with it for the rest of OP05. Before we get into any gameplay or the deck list, please make sure to drop a like and a sub. It helps out the channel immensely. We just passed 1,000 subscribers, so thank you so much everyone for all the support. And of course, I have a Discord, which the link is in the description below. We have a slowly growing community there, which we have great people talking about One Piece every day outside of the YouTube comments. So if that's something you are interested in, please make sure to join that as well. One last thing, if you are visiting California this weekend or just going to be playing in the One Piece regional for Core TCG, I will also be there, so please make sure to say hi if you see me. Hope to see you guys there. Now let's get into the deck list. With Luffy, the ability is very important here. It is the whole reason why you would play this leader. It's activate main once per turn. You may take the top card from your life cards to your hand. If the amount of Dawn on your field is 0 or 3 or more, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck as active. This leader does a couple of things very well for you. It draws cards and it also ramps you. So those abilities being built into the leader are very strong, as opposed to like other purple leaders such as Kaido, which need to see things like Onigashima in order to be able to ramp effectively. And also Kaido doesn't really get to draw that well. So that being said, this leader is actually very strong for what it does. So let's talk about some of the cards you would include in the deck list itself. So I'm running 2 Scratchman Apu. This here is just a 4-drop 6k body vanilla. You're going to have to run a few of these, of course, because going first or second, obviously you don't know what you're going to go based off the die roll. Maybe you go first, maybe you go second. So you need to have a fair amount of 4 drops and a fair amount of 5 drops to cover both bases. So if you're going first, based off of your leader ability, you will be hitting your 4 Dawn on your second turn. If you're going second, you're going to be hitting your 5 Dawn turn going second. So that's why you need a fair amount of 4 or 5 drops. This just covers your 4 drop base. We have 4 of the 5 drop X Drake, which this mostly is going to be used as a 2k counter. However, there are very niche situations where you can use the ability to drop a body down and then minus a Dawn to trash a card from your opponent's hand. Of course, I believe they get to select that card, so it's not as great as like maybe a blocker law, which is we'll get to in a second, but overall this is a very solid card in general, just because it does allow you to swing with this card as a character without any Dawn investment once you play. We have 4 of the 5-cost Magellan. This card is very annoying for your opponent to have to deal with. They're not going to want to swing into it because of the effect saying that when this is KO'd, your opponent returns 2 of their Dawn cards on the field to their Dawn deck. So basically, on play though, it's Dawn -1. Both you and your opponent return 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck. So you're de-ramping, but that doesn't really matter for you because as Luffy, you're going to ramp it back up. Your opponent is going to be a little bit annoyed, of course, because what this card is really good at is preventing 10 drops like Big Mom coming down on curve. So this is a great card to include because there are a fair amount of Katakuris still in the meta, and so this card can help at least delay the Big Mom turn coming down on curve. Next, we're running 4 of the 2k 4-drop Khalifa. This card is not going to be used very often on the field. It is one of those where if you don't really have a play outside of maybe something else that's like a vanilla or maybe the law blocker, I think you're probably going to hold this in hand and use it as a 2k, but it is a very great utility 2k in the sense that when attacking, Dawn -1, you draw 2 cards and discard 1 card from your hand. So it allows you to draw. Most of the time though, you're going to be using this as a 2k. We have 4 of the 5-drop Poly, which this card on play, you pay 2 Dawn, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Then if you have 8 or more Dawn in play, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. This card, very much a strong card, allowing you to ramp, and then on top of that, KOing a body. So I would say this card is a 4 of, in my opinion. I think some people might include it a little bit less. So what's a great play here is you go first, you use your ability, you play like a page 1 or a Scratchman Apu, and then on the following turn, you're going to be at 6 Dawn. You use your leader ability again, you have Poly, you play the Poly down, Then you use the Poly ability to ramp up one more. You're at 8 Dawn. You use the Poly ability to KO something on the field, which there will be a 4-drop more than likely at that point because your opponent is around 4 Dawn, 3 or 4 Dawn. And then the following turn, you have a 9-drop Kaido, which we'll get to in a second, but that is just the perfect curve here. And of course, getting that is very easy when you have multiple copies of these cards in the deck. So that's why 4 of is a must for me. We're running 4 of the Eustace Captain Kidd 5-drop blocker, which this is a great blocker that came out of the set, which once per turn on your turn when a Dawn card from your field is returned to the Dawn deck, add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So this is great because some of these cards that have effects where you're minusing Dawn, it feels kind of awful in a sense because you're losing a Dawn, you're like using your ability to gain it, but then you might lose it again, and you're kind of like not really gaining any tempo from your Dawn in that point. But if this is on the field, you're gaining that Dawn back, and then you can use it to swing for an extra Dawn. So yeah, overall, this card I would love to see in an opening hand for the most part. I think a lot of people like to hate on this card in the sense that when it hits the field, it's like a target for a lot of people to get rid of because it is a very strong card overall. We're running 4 of the ulti 4-drop. It is a 2k counter. This is a very strong play as well. If you're going first, you play ulti on curve, and then you use the minus Dawn effect to play a page 1, which is a vanilla card. So you're getting 2 bodies out on your second turn, which 2 bodies, very strong. And of course, one's a 5k, one's a 6k body. So yeah, overall, this is a really strong effect. Of course, if you're not wanting to deramp, you don't have to do this. You can just play the page 1. But yeah, ulti's a very strong card. And then of course, I talked about the Kaido a second ago, but this card is the big boss monster in the deck that you're going to want to try to ramp up too fast. If you can get the Kaido down ahead of curve, it is very hard for your opponent to answer it. And of course, the effect is on play Dawn -5, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less, then this character gains rush during this turn. Very strong card. Once it's on the field, it applies the same pressure every turn. Your opponent probably is not going to be able to answer this very effectively unless they're playing like a black or blue leader. So, which of course there is a big black or blue leader, black and blue leader in the set that seems to be a problem for a lot of people. So just keep that in mind. But overall, if you can hit this ahead of your opponent's curve, like it's just disgusting. So yeah, 4 of a must. Then we're running 4 of the Blocker Queen, which this is a 5-drop 6k body. This is probably your best blocker in the deck. On play, Dawn -1, draw 2 cards and trash 1 from your hand. This is one of your main sources of drawing in the deck overall, besides the Khalifa, but I'd say you're probably going to be playing the Queen down more than the Khalifa. The other thing that I'm running, which I also mentioned, is the 4-drop page 1, which is this is a 6k body vanilla. Nothing more to say about this. It's the same effect as like a Scratch and a Poo. And then we're running the new Trafalgar Law blocker, which it's a 4-cost and an on-play Dawn -1. If your opponent has 7 or more cards in the hand, you may trash 2 from their hand. You get to choose the 2 randomly. This is a very strong effect, so keep this in mind if you're going against Purple Luffy, that if they swing, if you're going second and they swing at you and you decide to take it, there's a chance that they could play this down and then drop 2 cards from your hand from that. So this is a very strong going first play. And then we have another kind of big boss monster. I'd say kind of. I said it's a big boss monster. It's kind of a big boss monster. I don't know exactly where to put this card, but overall, this card basically makes your leader like Whitebeard overall. I just said overall twice. I'm not going to edit that out, by the way. So we have a 7-drop, which it is an 8k body on play, and when attacking Dawn -1, up to one of your leader gains plus 1000 power until the start of your next turn. If you get multiple of these, it's really hard for your opponent to swing into the Luffy at that point. So yeah. And then of course we're running a couple of events here. Actually, these are the only events that I'm choosing to run in this deck. You could run Blast Breath, but overall I think Jet Gatling is a pretty solid card overall, because what you're going to end up doing is probably using most of your Dawn per turn. And then your opponent is going to be like, okay, cool, I can swing in and not have to worry about them like being able to counter out because they're tapped out. And of course, this is a 0-cost event, which you do have a lot of cards in hand, keep this in mind, that have no counter on them. So you have the Kid, you have your Kaidos, your Polys, and your Magellans. You can just toss them if you don't need them for the effect and get plus 3k. The other side effect from this card, which is a trigger, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active, comes up quite often, and it's very good for you if you're looking to ramp a little bit faster. So overall, this is the deck that I'm choosing to play. It's very consistent. As you can see, there's a lot of 4-ofs across the board, and I think that this deck is very strong. So let's take it into the sim and see how it does. All right, we're going to go against probably one of our harder matchups off the bat. They decide to go first. What do we want to do here? I think we want to keep the Magellan. I think we want to keep this hand because Magellan can be a good card to play against Sakazuki if they don't see any of their bottom decking removal. So we're going to have them answer that if that's the case. I don't want to play the kid quite yet. It does feel a little bit sad not playing it, but I think playing the Magellan on curve is actually pretty good here. We can... I think we can just take this because I don't want to drop 2 cards here. That's fine. It's okay to take a hit every now and then, like maybe 1 or 2, but if you can prevent it, try to. Swing 5, have an answer for this. Okay, cool. We'll now do this where we play Magellan. And they have to have Hound Blaze in order for them to do something for us. So the Magellan will, otherwise they can't KO it. Okay, they might be looking to do something here. Let's see what we can do. I don't want to get rid of the queen. I don't want to get rid of this either. So we're going to drop the law. They might have it. They might actually have it. Why do they always have it? I swear to God. We're going to use that there. We're going to play... We're just going to go ahead and get rid of this because if they don't have things on the board, then that's fine for me. Now we're going to make it a little bit harder for them to swing into us. Even though I could have used it to swing into the brand new, I figured they're not going to counter 2 cards out of hand to get rid of the brand new. Ice Age, so they're probably looking to get rid of the kid. I think they can with the Ice Age. They go like Ice Age and then maybe Hound Blaze. Okay, they don't have it. Good for us. Play this down. Swing for 8. Use the kid ability to gain 1 Dawn. Let's swing 6. Actually, no. Swing 6 is good enough for me, and then play a Khalifa. The Khalifa can help us draw more cards as well, because right now we're looking for like a Kaido or maybe a second kid. I'm not too confident that any of this board will last past this turn. They are on 8 Dawn, so they could effectively like swing 6. Minus the kid and then play Borsalino. That could be something they could do. Honestly, it's really hard to know what like a Sakazuki might do just because there's so many different plays that they can make. Obviously, with as many cards that they have, like recur, like the Rebecca, there's things that they could do there. Let's look at their trash really fast. Yeah, they have like a Hina. They might have the Lucci in hand as well. So they could go like, well, they're not going to do it at this point, but they could have done like Rebecca, play a Hina, play a Lucci, and get rid of like a kid blocker if they so choose. There's a lot for them to think about, honestly. Next turn, depends on what we get here. I might just go queen. I might just play the queen and that's it. I mean, this is a free block. It's a free block. Might as well take it. If they're going to bottom deck this, might as well just like have them, have it being used in this point. So yeah. Even though I'm 6, it doesn't really matter, right? I'm just going to have them block and then maybe they'll use it to attack into it. Why rip? Why rip? Do they have the Lucci? Okay. They always have it. Couldn't do both though, which is nice. Let's play the queen. That's a tough one. We could get rid of this with the poly. Next turn. We get rid of this. I can't ramp. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to swing Khalifa. Draw 2, trash 1. Perfect. They might block here. Swing 6. We're just going to get them to drop cards out of their hand. 1, 2, 3. Go 8. Have them drop another 2. They decide not to, which is good for us. I'm fine attacking that Borsalino if they want to defend it, which it looked like they did, right? We're totally fine having the Khalifa go down, I think. Let's block just to be annoying. Because that means that they are going to have to swing into all of these things, which it's fine. Sure. I'm not going to let this die for free if I can block it for free. That's a very good card to have to deal with. Kaido would be great right about now. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get it. We could play the Law. We actually could play the Law here. But I think the Law is the better choice. No, we can do both. We can actually do both. Use the card action to get rid of this. Swing 5. What did we get rid of, by the way? Ooh, Rebecca and a Hound Blaze. Let's go. Swing 6. Swing 6. Don't be afraid to swing with your blockers, by the way. They are beefy boys for the most part. So if you feel comfortable swinging with your blockers, go for it. I know that they have a huge 10-drop Kaido on the other side of the field, but we have a fair amount of counter here to be able to probably counter out of one Sakazuki leader attack, and then block the other one with the Law. I think overall that was a really good play for us. I don't feel like we're in the driver's seat because of what they have on the field. So what are they trying to do here? They might be trying to get rid of the Law. No, they're trying to get rid of the kid. See, this is why it's okay to attack with the blockers, especially against Sakazuki, because if they're going to KO your blockers anyway, it doesn't really matter now, does it? What would be amazing is I'm hoping for a 9-drop Kaido. Really good here. Let's see what they do with this remaining Dawn. I think we're okay with it. I think we're okay taking that simply because we're just going to block that down. We're okay taking it because it's like we don't really have anything else to do with that, to be honest. So, all right. Do we swing for the fences? I think we try. I think we try here. They're going to block more than likely. One card to trash. I think we can trash Gel in here. We'll go 7 again. See if they take it. And we're actually going to swing 8. We're going to be aggressive here because they're down to that last life. We have a blocker up just in case we need it. We have plenty of counter in hand. We're at 1 life. They're getting pretty low on hand size, despite them playing the 10-drop. Okay. I think we just do this. I think we go no blocker. I don't want to get rid of the Poly because I think the Poly might come in clutch if they play like a Rebecca. I'm not entirely sure what they're going to be doing. And also on top of that, I have to be very aware that at any point in time, they could bottom deck my queen. So I'm going to keep my queen alive as best I can and counter out of the stuff that I feel like I should counter out of. I think that they're trying to go all in because they might not have another play here. Let's just do it. Just keep countering out. Kaido attacking either of these bodies doesn't really matter because it's the same thing as me blocking it with the queen. The other thing they could do is swing another 7 here at me. Right? They could go 7 on brand new. Okay. Mancherry. What do they have? What are they going to get from Mancherry? 2K maybe? They don't have enough Dawn to play like a... Iggy. Yeah, it looks like they're just going for a 2K. That's fine. We'll just... It's a free block. Then we just stack all on. Go 15. Yeah. I didn't think that they would... I mean, I was going to put it all on Poly, and then I accidentally clicked on the leader there. But overall, yeah. I think that this matchup is pretty tough. So I think that them not seeing enough Rebecca blockers probably hurt them a little bit. And of course, we didn't see our Kaido, but if we had seen it, it would have been definitely an easier match for us. It would have applied so much pressure that they might not have felt comfortable dropping a 10-drop Kaido there. Overall, though, I don't see too many Sakazukis playing 10-drop Kaido, and maybe it hurt him in the long run because what it ended up doing is we played a Law to rip some of those cards from hand, so it was only like he drew 2 from it. So yeah, I think that this matchup's tough, but don't be afraid. The lesson here is don't be afraid to swing with your blockers. So on to the next. We're going against a Eustace Captain Kidd. This is a very... interesting leader. I don't know exactly. I haven't played against too many. I've been thinking about building a list for this leader. But honestly, I'm not sure what they're running. It's kind of, I'm going in blind here, actually. Let's swing 5, see if they take it. If they counter out, then we just play the Khalifa. Oh, even better. We play the page 1. We play page 1, and then on the next turn, if they play anything down that's 4-drop or less, we KO it with the Poly. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. I am going to just get rid of one of my kids. That's fine. Because I have another one. It's fine. Oh my god. Is this the perfect curve here? No way. We'll go 5. See if they take it. They take it. We'll go 7. See if they take it. They take it. Okay. Amazing. Beautiful. And then now this next turn, we have the Kaido. We can pop their blocker. Ah, this feels so good. We're going to counter out of this because why not? If we can save it, let's save it. What do we do here? I think we go 7. Let's ramp again. Oh my god. 7 again. Counter out, baby. 10. I think they had a counter, but they just, at that point, it was like, that is the perfect curve. And so they probably were just like, yeah, we'll give it to them. So yeah, that was an ideal demonstration of how this deck should be run overall. Being able to play a vanilla into a Poly, KOing their 4-drop, into a Kaido, KOing whatever 5 or 6-drop they play at that turn. Yeah, that is, oh, disgusting. On to the next. I don't think, actually, it's not going to get better than this, so maybe we should stop here. But no, honestly, we'll go on to the next one. Okay, going against Red Purple Law, this deck, I think overall, is going to be a struggle for us. I think it's a good matchup against Purple Luffy. Let's keep this hand. And I think hope for the best. They do a really good job of handling a lot of our bodies. Oftentimes what I'll see is like a Law will go in and they'll just like swing 8 the first turn, especially if you don't play anything down on your first turn. So we're going to be hurting, but of course, hurting means that we do have extra cards in hand. That is fine. So they have 6. Let's just do just a check, see what they do here. If they take it, we law. They play a Rad Beam? That early? Wow. I'm actually going to play this. The reason I'm playing this instead of the Magellan, because Magellan is going to be bottom decked, I have a feeling, and it's okay, like, if it gets bottom decked, but I don't want to have to minus my own Dawn if it's going to be bottom decked this next turn. I'm just predicting that's what's going to happen. I was wrong. But now what we can end up doing is just swinging in with page 1, Luffy. We're going to play the poly and just use the poly effect. They're not going to be able to play anything, or we're not going to be able to KO anything with it, which that's fine. It's not the end of the world. I probably should have discarded a page 1 instead of my law blocker, because they are at 6. They're probably going to take a hit here. But let's just go attack Luffy 5. They might block with the queen. Okay, they counter out. We're just going to do this because we want to ramp. Swing 7. Then the next turn, we'll be able to play our Kaido down. It does suck. Admittedly, it does suck playing the poly down without having a 4-drop to KO. But I think it was the better option in order to just effectively get to our 10 Dawn turn. Play the Kaido down. Swing 5 with our leader. Swing 7 with whatever is alive. If there is anything alive, maybe we can invest more if nothing is alive at that point. So yeah, I just wanted to ramp up as fast as possible. Is that the right play? We'll see in a second. Actually, this might be the right play. They're not bottom decking any of our stuff, which is very unlike this leader. That is the whole point of this leader. By the way, I'm going to hover over some of these cards so you guys can see what they do, because obviously these are brand new cards. We're going to counter out. So obviously here, the leader, if you're not familiar with it, I said obviously, but if you're not familiar with it, I'll just put this here for you. This is the blocker that they have, which we have the same one. And then of course the queen, which I talked about earlier. Okay, so what is the best thing to pop here? Personally, I think the kid, because it gets the most value after being played. So let's go ahead and pop this. And we'll start swinging 6s because it's just the baseline level to get over the queen here. Go 6, another 6. Now, after they get these 2Ks out of hand, because I imagine, oh, wow, we're actually going to take a life here, because what I want to end up doing is swinging 7, applying more pressure to them, having an extra card in hand, and then swing the 10. So this is really tough for them because they have to drop a couple of cards. I think they made a mistake there by dropping just a 2K. They might have thought that I was swinging 6 because they didn't think I'd take a life. But overall, yeah. I think they made a mistake there. They should probably be at 1 life if that's the case. But yeah, unfortunately, you can't take back in the sim if you make a mistake like that. I'm not sure where they can go from here. Yeah, I think maybe the mistake was too much for them. What did they... Wow, their hand was entirely just bricks. Were they just setting up to take care of our board all at once? Or like, what? I'm not sure. All right, going against Enel. This is an interesting matchup for sure. So I'm going to actually mulligan to see if I can find something a little bit better here. This is a very... I think this is actually a very good hand, because Enel will like to take life. So you go 5, they take the life, you play the law, then they discard 2 from hand. You play the kid, you start ramping up after that. Let's just swing 5, see if they take it. Okay, they take it. Well, now we can't do our effect, but that's okay. We don't need to, because the next turn what we'll end up doing is we'll play down a 5-drop kid. Actually, we can probably do a 7-drop kid to them and be a little bit more annoying. This is a matchup, by the way, that is very... I'm a little bit shocked. I'm stunned here. I was going to say this is a matchup that is favored to Purple Luffy if you see a good curve. But them dropping Upper Yard is a card that I am familiar with, but never thought I would run or see being ran. So that's why I am absolutely just stun locked here. 2 of them? What? What's going on? I don't know how good this card is or not. I mean, if you're running the Sky Island package, then of course this is an amazing card, but this guy's crazy. This guy's going crazy. What's going on? All right, we're just going to do this. We're going to go 7 minus and then swing 6. They probably block, but yeah. We're just trying to get them down to 1 life and then build up a board, because what ends up happening is that you need at least 3 attacks to get through on Enel, and it doesn't make sense to just give them their leader ability turn after turn if you're only able to swing 1 or 2 bodies. So ultimately, let's just try to get them down to that 1 life. Okay, cool. We are going to be at 8 Dawn next turn. Ooh. What do we do here? I want to play Law so badly. They're at 8. They have 8 cards in hand. Honestly, playing this is not an amazing thing to play. Let's just counter the 1, because we already have another one in hand. All right, let's do this. So here's what I want to do. I want to swing 5 because I don't want to telegraph what this move is, because then they can counter out like what they think is going to be appropriate. So let's just see if they counter out here. They likely will. Okay. Another one. Great. I want to get rid of this because I don't want them to put it back in life. I'm not going to swing the Kaido here because it doesn't make sense. They're just going to use their leader ability and pitch the worst card in their hand and then gain a new life. So it doesn't really make sense for me to do that. I think for them, what their best move would be to like stack all Dawn on this kid and then, or stack all Dawn on their leader, swing at the kid. I don't have enough counter to be able to get out of it. What do they have for 6 Dawn? Blocker. Let's do it. Let's do it to it. What did we get rid of? We got rid of 2 Enels. Wow, what a hit. What a hit. This is going to require them to counter out more than likely. Okay. I know I'm not going to be able to break through here, so I'm not going to swing. I'm just not going to swing. You have to have a little bit of patience against Enel, because if they start discarding cards, don't continue to swing into them. You know, that's I play Enel. Don't continue to swing into Enel if that's the case. If they're discarding a card to save that life, just like, okay, cool, you discarded the card. Here's where it is a little bit of a problem, of course. Because now they go back up to 1 life. We're going to play this kid. We're going to swing in. Go 8. Okay. Swing 7. They take it. Perfect. Now we pass. They're back down to 1 life. They might swing into our 7-drop, but that's fine. We have a blocker and we also have some counters in hand. The next turn, we will be able to... What are they doing? Do you think that they go all in on this? Go 7. If they go another 12, if they like go all in, then we do have enough counter to be able to counter out of it. I'll trash a life. Let's go 8. Oh, they take it. Okay. Oh, this is a really risky play here. Really risky play. I want to take a life, but I don't think I should. I'm requiring them to drop 2 here. Okay. They drop their entire hand. That just means that we can swing into their Yamato. That's really good for us. And now we don't have a blocker that they can rest. The only way that they get past and maybe potentially kill us this turn is if they drew a bolt. The other thing, yeah, if they draw a bolt, we still should be able to counter out of it. Okay, so we don't have to worry. Ooh. This is going to hurt. This is actually going to hurt me to do. Because next turn we can actually play our Kaido again because we're at 8 Dawn. Let's just swing 10 because they obviously can't counter out of this. Okay. Swing 6. We're keeping our Kaido in hand in case they have a blocker that comes down. Swing 12. I didn't need to be that extra, of course, but I just wanted to show them that I had another Kaido because why not? Overall, I think that this matchup is Purple Luffy favored. You just have to play it a little bit smarter when they get down to that 1 life and kind of like ask for cards out of their hand and try not to play into the leader ability. But overall, this is a favored matchup for Purple Luffy. So there you have it. I'd say that this leader overall, like I said, very consistent, very strong. It's going to be a deck that I think is heavily represented in upcoming regionals and treasure cups. And I would not be too shocked if it wins a couple of them because it is a deck that has a lot of firepower. It has a lot of mid-range, strong bodies, great blockers. And once again, don't be afraid to swing with your blockers because that is a great way to apply aggression to your opponent. Rather than play back, you can bring the aggression to them, and that's the probably the ideal way to play. Keep in mind that there are some matchups that this deck might struggle against, like Bello Betty, or maybe like Zoro, or anything that like rushes with very flat 5s or 6s. So you might struggle a little bit against those kind of decks, but I'd say that this deck overall fares very well in the meta. So hopefully you guys get to take it for a spin and try it out yourselves because it is a fun deck to be able to just like ramp up, draw cards, and then smash face. That is a very fun way to play. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.